I'm Tony DeFrank. I'm back with another Covering Classic Cars. It's our March 2022 edition, and I'm here with a couple of our longtime customers, Ken and Chuck, and they're classic Chevy pickups for our March catalog cover. And kind of got like a old-timey background. We're here at Strathern Park in Simi Valley, so thank you to the Simi Valley Parks and Rec for letting us come out here on a Saturday morning and do our photo shoot. So thank you guys for coming out and participating. I really appreciate it. And I guess if you've gotten our catalogs for a long time, these are past catalog cover participants, so they know the drill, and they didn't block my call when I called and asked them about today. So thanks for coming out. I guess Chuck, you've done this a ton of times, so I know, and Ken's done this before with your 50, correct? So tell us about your truck. Like, I'll go with Ken, and then so like, what kind of condition did you find it in? What what inspired the project? I know you always have some cool Chevys. So what inspired your truck this time around?
Well, this one started out as a basket case. The guy had had it in his garage for about 10 years, and it was going to be his project, and he ended up moving out of state and didn't want to take it with him. So I was able to get it for a reasonably cheap price, and so I took it and threw half of it away because the frame was no good and a bunch of other stuff, and I put a TCI chassis underneath it. And it was about a 2-year project. It's got the TCI chassis, it's got the Ford 9-inch rear end, it has the 350 Chevy crate motor with the 700R transmission, and just really was a nice little project.
Yeah. And what I guess our customers might not know is that you and Chuck, like, you build these vehicles in your garage. Right? That's like the what we love about Simi. There's some die-hard hot rodders that love to work and build their cars. It seems like everyone I work with and we shoot from Simi, like, oh yeah, I did almost as much as possible in my garage, and that's a testament to you guys, and the cars are great. And so everything but paint, or you got a paint booth in there too?
I did all the body work and everything to prep it right to the paint. Every time I try to paint at my house, the wind comes up to about 40 miles an hour. I painted another vehicle in my garage one time, and I ended up getting overspray on the whole 3-car garage, which meant I had to paint the whole front of the garage. Plus, I had a gate that matched the garage. After I painted it, didn't match anymore, so I had to paint that whole thing. And after that, I kind of quit trying to paint. I'll do all the body filler primers and all that stuff.
Well, it's just Simi Valley. It's always windy here. That's why we're trying to time this shoot, the little interview, like when the wind is calm. And we're lucking out right now. We won't go take too long at this. But so, and then you do the interior, you do everything else, or is that someone else do the interior for you?
Albert Lara. Chuck introduced me to Albert Lara, and
we're familiar with Albert. Yeah, we know.
He does beautiful work. And then we had Dan Hansen. He's what's the Covina paint shop now?
I don't know what the name of the shop is now, but he was, when we painted originally, he was in Northridge.
Yeah. It's called, they nicknamed him Dan Go. Just beautiful work. Love him to death. He gets the job done. You know, when the car goes in, it's usually in there for a month or two, and that's about it. It comes out instead of 2 years.
I have to say that's pretty fast. So if he's doing good and it's quick, that's a rare find.
Good.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful truck, Ken. Thank you so much. And if you've gotten our catalog many years ago, Ken had a beautiful 50 Chevy, and then since then, there's probably like a half dozen cars. I know you had a beautiful Nova for a long time. So, yeah. So if you hang around at the local Cars and Coffee meets, you've seen Ken and his work. I guess, Chuck, this is I don't know. I joke, like, it's rare that we go like 2 years without having one of your vehicles on the catalog cover. I know it's like Tom Hanks hosting SNL. It's like you're always back on that because you and Linda just always have some cool vehicles.
Yeah.
And so tell us about how you came across the pickup and.
Well, the story goes back that my wife is actually in love with these old trucks, and she told me, she expressed her feelings about the trucks, and even though we have a lot of other cars, she really did have her eye on these old trucks. So we were at Paso Robles some time ago, a few years ago, and I saw this truck, and I thought, it's perfect. It was patina condition. It was original paint, and it was pretty rough in some areas, but there was something about it that it just had a certain charm that you could tell. If you look at something and have a vision, you can see it, and that's what I did with this truck. And I thought, well, that's it. I got to buy it for her. I bought it, brought her over, and I said, "There's your truck." So we kept the truck as it was for a few years, actually, and then I think around 2016, somewhere around there, I realized that the truck was really taking a bad beating in the weather. It sat outside. The paint, even though it was cool the way it looked, it was getting to the point where there was rust coming through. And I told her, I said, "I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to redo the truck." And she was kind of resistant at first, but I explained to her what was going to happen if we didn't do something with it. So we went ahead and I blew it apart and redid the entire thing, and that's what we wound up with. And you know, these are both really cool trucks, and as you can see, even though they're very similar vintage, there's two different styles of builds here. And one perspective is kind of a modern, more contemporary, and the way I decided to go with it is more the old school look. And there's something to say about both of them. Now, it doesn't take anything away from one truck or the other. You do what you enjoy doing, and I do that with most of my cars. I try to leave the body alone and work with the original design, because there's so much character in that. But
It's all art.
It's also got a Chevrolet 350 motor. It's got a 350 Hypermatic. It's got a Ford 9-inch. It's got TCI front suspension and airbags in the rear. And it's dependable. I mean, you can get in and drive it anywhere.
Yeah, and I feel like your cars are all drivers. It's like besides,
yes, they are.
It's like we always see the See Me gang at Pleasanton and Del Mar, and they're all around the Cars and Coffee meets. So these are driven. So they're not trailered. You and Linda drive them and you road trip them.
No,
and Ken's cars, you take them on the road.
What I've told many people is, if you see one of my cars on a trailer, call the police, 'cause it's been stolen. But, you know, I mean, it's the cars are built to be driven, and you know, a lot of people are very particular about their cars. They don't want to have people looking over them, or you know, they're very cautious of it. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't care about them. It's just that I expect that things are going to happen. You know, driving down the road, I could get a rock chip, and if I do, I'll fix it. That's it. But you know, as you're aware, with most of my cars, they are driven, and they have to be respected as drivers.
Yeah, and they're all beautiful cars. And yeah, depends how long you've been getting our catalog, but I think we shot a Nomad, the 54, 61. There's got to be another one or two that I've missed. I don't know, but there's
Corvette that you did some stuff on, but I don't think that was ever a cover car. But you know, it's and we really do appreciate your family is a great family, and
great family.
And we appreciate having the opportunity to help you out with these photos. It's something that a lot of people enjoy when they pick up these magazines and they see these really cool cars. I know I do. Whenever I get my copy every month, I look at it and I think, man, that is really, you know, that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, you and Ken and a lot of our customers in SoCal have figured it out. Like, you know, it's a lot of work to try to coordinate this with, you know, locations and customers. But if you do some cool stuff and you happen to live in SoCal, like and you're our customer, like we try to promote that. And when you got unique builds, and you know, we really like the idea of the cover with your and Ken's trucks, because it's like a different take on the classic Chevy, but there's subtle differences, but it's like, you know, Ken's taste and your taste, and they're still very cool. They're just something unique, and we like to showcase that.
There are common things. The paint and interior done by the same people. Dan Hansen did my paint, and Albert Laura did the interior, and he's done, both of those guys have done interior and paint work for me on about 4 or 5 cars, and they do great work, and they're really great people to work with. So that really takes the sting out of it. You know, there's so many horror stories you hear about people that take their cars to certain vendors to have work done, and it turns out to be a disaster. And fortunately, I've never had that experience with either Albert or Dan.
Yeah, that's good. And that's, look, we you go to so many shows and events, and you know, and you have someone that you can trust that you work on your car, that becomes like you're just like the advertisement for them, because you're referring them to everybody, and then they know, like, I trust this guy or woman. I trust them to do the work, and it gets done on time. And hopefully, with most of these projects, not really in budget, but close to the budget, and
well,
that's a testament to their work.
About it. You know, you don't have to bite your tongue to make a reference to one of these guys. They're almost like they become, you know, a friend more than just a person that provides service for you, much like you. You know, you respect them, and they treat you with the same amount of respect, and you get exactly what you put into the relationship, and they treat you well, and they do great quality work.
The problem is, when you tell everybody how good they are, next thing you know, you can't get them anymore.
They're too busy. Yeah, you gotta get careful who you tell. Yeah, because you tell my dad about like a good referral, then everybody knows. He connects everybody. He's Mr. Network, and I mean that as a compliment, Dad. But yeah, he knows everybody. So I guess I think your truck was done maybe back in 19, I want to say. It was
done, I think, in 18 or 19.
18 time. I remember at Bakersfield, I think we saw you out there. So I guess, and Ken's truck's been done for a while. So what are the next projects for you gentlemen? Because I know you can't be sitting still. We've been with limited car shows the past year, kind of just hanging around home. Like, so what are you working on, or what's on the back burner that's coming up next?
I'm doing a '64 Malibu SS.
Okay.
That I found at a dealer in Arizona, and it was a really, really solid, nice car. I looked for some time for a car, and this was probably the best car I could have found. However, it needed work. It had a 4-speed. I didn't want to shift gears. It had a 327 that was, you know, kind of old and retired, but I put a new engine, transmission, Wilwood disc brakes, you know, a radiator and stuff, and I'm working on it right now. I'm just about ready to finish it up, and it's kind of like my bubble top white with the red leather interior, and it'll be nice.
Oh, we'll look forward to seeing it out at the road. Hopefully, you get ready for like maybe for the summer for the Pleasanton meets and all that.
Probably,
or
yeah.
Right. And so, Ken, what are you working on then?
I'm not working on anything right now. I'm looking.
You're looking up
another project.
Okay.
I thought I had a good chance at this '54 Oldsmobile. The only problem is it was in Kingman, Arizona, and I mean it was a beautiful stock turnkey. An 85-year-old gentleman couldn't drive it anymore, and he was, you know, put it up for sale. It was a good deal, but
well, look,
I couldn't get to it.
Chuck was just and found a car in Arizona, and just next time just carpool with him and just,
well, you know, that's the thing, you know.
Make a road trip out of it.
Car guys like us, you know, and I put us in the same category. We're never satisfied with what we have. We always have one eye open for looking for something else.
It's the build. It's the build. For me, that's the fun part.
Yeah, and Ken does that. Ken builds his cars and does a beautiful job on them, and then next thing you know, it's got a for sale sign on it. You know.
I wish my dad had some of that, because he likes to build them and then just accumulate, and then then some of them get done, some don't, and I'm just. But I see why you and my father get along. There's just you always got to what's coming in the pipeline next.
Yeah, I love your dad. He's such a great guy, and
a lot of fun.
So personable. I mean, and you're right. He knows everybody. I mean, you can't walk 3 feet with him in a crowd and
I can't go like
to say hello.
Car shows, donut derelicts, and I just walk on my own, because I can't see any cars, because he has to stop every 5 feet and shoot the breeze. But everyone loves him.
He's a great guy, and if anybody ever has an opportunity to meet him, they should do so. And he won't shy away. You would walk up to Jim and introduce yourself, and he'll be your friend.
Oh yeah. Well, the key is if you have a 32 Ford or a 55 Chevy, you just put a for sale sign on it, and he'll find you. Don't worry. He'll just want to.
Probably be in his driveway.
he'll want to talk to you about it. He'll love it. So
borrowed your bill marker in Pleasanton one time. We sold one of my cars for a lot of cash, and a friend of ours suggested, hey, why don't you borrow, you know, the DeFrank's little pin they use for their little pin to check the bills to make sure the guy's hundreds are good. And so we borrowed it and just marking all the thing and counting at the same time, just counting away.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves to go on the shows, and he's a great guy. And
he does. You know,
yeah.
Quick story, funny story about your dad. Linda and I were in Minnesota back to the 50s, and as you know, it's a huge show. The fairgrounds there is like a small town. And
I don't know if I know which story you're going to tell, but go ahead.
We're walking around, and suddenly your dad shows up, and he's in a little cart. And we talked and talked and talked, and he says, just, you know, after we said goodbye, and he says, by the way, he says, do you know where my booth is? He says, I can't find my booth.
and I knew it because there was one time, the first time he'd been back to the 50s with us in a while, and if you haven't been there, it needs to be a bucket list car show because they pack them in like 10, 12,000 cars, all classics, and it's unbelievable, but the fairgrounds are gigantic.
Yeah.
And we warned them and said, hey, the booth is on Underwood. Don't forget where our booth is because you'll get lost. And sure enough, like he's like, okay, I'm here. I see like a cheese curd stand. How do I get back to the booth? And we're like, there's just, you'll get lost there.
Yeah.
But no, gentlemen, thank you so much for the time. This is great to catch up, and I appreciate it. And my family, California Car Cover, we just appreciate you taking your time on a Saturday morning, especially. This is for our spring promotion, but we got to work ahead. So there's some holiday decor here because it is the holiday season. So we just, thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. And again, anytime we can do something for you, you let us know because you're always there for us.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing this Malibu and whatever. Ken, whatever you track down, we look forward to seeing that too, because we know either way they're going to end up being some great builds, and so thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. Well, again, hey, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll get some more photos and video of these cars on our Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. So, again, for Covering Classic Cars, I'm Tony DeFrank.